Welcome to the Coast to Coast podcast, brought to you by Play Picks and the Lines. Coming to you from the West Coast, Josh Lander, joined by Nate Weitzer, holding it down on the East Coast. And as always, another great article up on playpicks.com from Nate. Make sure you check out some best bets that we're looking at as we roll on in this Thursday night slate. Pretty small one tonight, Nate. We are looking at the Seas and the Heat here. Make sure you do check out our other video with those Suns and Rockets, as well as our player props video that we're bringing you each day of the week. And as always, if you do still need a FanDuel or DraftKings account, head to fdpicks.com or dkpicks.com and find those listings in your area, such as what we've got for tonight. Nate, let's get into it.
Yeah, right now Celtics are +6, down from opening at +7. And the total at 214, I've seen both fluctuate a little. Actually, the Celtics +6.5 now, as people are betting on both sides of that line. But I think the public kind of agreeing with my starting point, agreeing with the numbers really in the past, which is just that Boston tends to cover when you don't expect them to. It's, as I wrote today, death taxes and the Celtics playing up or down to their competition. And that's why they've covered in 7 straight when they're underdogs against these Miami Heat, especially. There's a rivalry there. We know knocked them out of the playoffs in the bubble 2 years ago. And I think that Boston going through some turmoil, to say the least, after that predictable collapse against the Bulls. Players only meeting, yada, yada. Marcus Smart calling out the young stars in the media. Al Horford hopefully doing some leading behind closed doors to get them right for this, which is a statement game for them, for sure. Whether they're going to be able to make that statement against a Heat team that looks like the best in the league remains to be seen. But I think that when the Seas come out playing well, it is more on the offensive side of the ball. We talked about this with the Bulls game, and it went over by like 30 points. And the Heat are being undervalued offensively this year. That's the big thing. I mean, yes, they have a great defensive rating, making their own statements, but they're number one in offensive rating at home. Kyle Lowry, Tyler Hero. I mean, what else can you say? They're just buckets on the outside. And the Celtics are dead last in defensive rating on the road thus far. That comes despite playing Orlando last time out. So I would look at the team totals here for I mean, really both teams are appealing because the Celtics at only 104.5. I think they can keep pace enough to get over that. And the Heat at 111 at home. Yes, but in general, yeah. I mean, if it stays at 214, I'm definitely taking the over. As 6 of the last 7 meetings between these teams have gone over, and the Celtics, again, because they compete when they're underdogs, they went 20-13 to the over as road dogs last year, and they're already 2-0 to the over in that spot this year.
Yeah, and lately we've been getting ahead of some of the trends. As we know, it's early in the season, so we can't necessarily take stock in everything that's already happened in this short amount of time. But I do think the main thing to keep an eye on here is how good Miami is on offense, which is surprising everybody. At this point, it looks like Miami and Utah are the 2 best regular season teams when you just look at their efficiency on both offense and defense, both of them in the top 5, which is incredible in both of those stats. So yeah, in terms of the C's here, you have your pulse on the team, your finger on the pulse of this team, obviously, and have been able to call when they're just going to come out and put up a stinker and when they might actually come out and play well. And to your point, it's about who they're playing. They just play at the level of their comp. And as you mentioned, the NBA isn't NBA 2K. It's real life, which means you need some actual intangibles as well, which is what we're looking for from Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, which I think that they do bring when it comes to that sort of, mano-a-mano machismo matchup that they have with the Miami Heat, which is all about ego with Jimmy Buckets and company. But I do, look, I think Miami's going to win this game still. I do think that the Celtics can keep it close, which is why I would feel pretty good about either teasing them and that over, to your point, or honestly just taking the money line with the Heat as well as that over as well. Gets you about plus 150 on FanDuel there. So feel pretty good about both of those, mostly just because, like we said, it's going to be about offense. I think Boston's problem this season so far is mostly, honestly, on the defensive end to a degree. They have a couple guys, and obviously Schroeder comes in and helps them able to just get buckets when they need it. And that's why I would feel pretty good about this. You mentioned the recent history between these two teams. Everything just tells you, the Celtics are going to play up to their comp, and and they're also going to cover that lower total than it definitely should be, as I think Miami's getting more credit for, on defense. They just gave up 110 in their recent win against the Mavs. So, not something they're going to be happy about, but I think there's some holes that can be, figured out, especially if you're able to play one-on-one ball with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum the way that they are. I just don't think it leads to a victory for them, and they continue to struggle the way they have so far.
Yeah, but you don't need a victory. You just need them to keep it within 6 points. Yeah. And I do feel better about the over just when looking at the Celtics giving up the most free throw attempts per game and hitting the 5th most free throws. They're averaging 113 points per game. Their last 5 against Miami, some of those games have gone to overtime, to the point that, they always seem to play them close. And the Heat games that have gone under this year, there's 4 of them. One's against the Nets, who have gone under every single game. And 3 are against non-playoff teams that Miami just locked down the stretch. Their 3 overs are against the Bucks, Mavs, and Grizz, who all made the playoffs. Celtics are a playoff team, despite their rocky start. I think they will be there at the end, 6 or 7 seed. And I think that they can score enough to force more out of Miami. And the more I think about it, Kyle Lowry and Tyler Hero are notable Celtics killers. They have loved playing against this defense. They will fill it up. And it's a great point about Schroeder, because the Celtics bench was pretty abysmal in scoring last year. Now with him coming off there, and with Horford helping to work with the second unit too, they're a lot more consistent scoring the ball, and that's why we've seen so many overs with them lately. So I would just hit that over. I'd keep it simple. If it's 214, hit that and cash in.
The Heat are a different team than they were last year. Tyler Hero, to his credit, is a different player than he was last year, to your point. So now, look, I'm definitely feeling pretty good about the Heat in general this year. Already laid a little bet on them to come out of the East, actually. And really, it was a matter of watching Kyle Lowry and Jimmy Butler double team Luka in their game against the Mavs the other night that I was watching, and just go, oh, that's terrifying. Nobody can do anything with that. Even Luka Doncic. It was a quick turnover leading to a fast pace, fast break, which is what they're doing this year. So it's about the fast break points for them, defense turning into offense, which gets them a lot of points. I do think the C's are going to, be a team that you can turn over a good amount, considering how much they do have the one-on-one ball handling that they sort of the crux of their offense. So either way, that's all the time we have for today. Nate, we are looking at that over in this Boston-Miami game. Feeling pretty good about the C's to cover as well, but still have that Miami victory. And we do have a couple other videos up for you today as we roll on with this Thursday night slate. Make sure you check out those player props, as well as Suns and Rockets, which we've got for you as well. And until we see you next time, happy betting.